The next thing we'll look at is directives. Directives are attributes that change the behavior of the element it's applied to. They're very simple to use. Vue comes with a few built-in directives. You even have the option to create your own. Let's start with some of the built-in directives. At the moment, the application is loading fine. But you may have noticed one problem. If we were to refresh the page, we would see the expression appear as plain text before it's been processed. This is because Vue and our application code haven't been loaded yet. For me, it's not much of a problem because I have a fast internet connection. However, that may not be true for anyone else who uses your application. If they were to see this, they might assume the application is broken rather than thinking it's loading. We can simulate their speeds by opening the Chrome Developer Tools. I assume you already know how the console and element panels function. The other panels are for more advanced uses. One of them is called the Network panel. The Network panel will output what files are loaded and how long they take to load. It'll display information about each request, but we don't need to go that deep at the moment. One feature I like is the ability to throttle the download speed. At the end of the options, you'll find a drop-down for connection speeds. Online would be considered your regular internet speed. We have options for other speeds. It's possible to create custom speeds as well. Let's try using the slow 3G speed option. Then, let's refresh the page by pressing Ctrl F5 on our keyboard. This keyboard shortcut will not only refresh your page, but will clear the cache as well. The expression takes longer to process because the scripts haven't been loaded yet. We have a basic application, but can you imagine what a page would look like with dozens of expressions? It wouldn't be very attractive to present our content like this. This is a common problem. There are multiple ways to fix this. By far, the easiest way is to use a directive. Using one is very simple. We'll switch back to our editors. Inside the document, let's add an attribute called vcloak to the app element. To the browser, this is an attribute, but to Vue, this is a directive. Unlike attributes, directives change how an element behaves. This behavior can be anything from changing the color to removing an element. All directives start with the V followed by the name of the directive. Directives can have expressions as values, but the one we're using doesn't require one. Therefore, we don't need to do anything else with it. This directive performs one single task. It'll wait for our Vue application to mount itself onto the document. The moment it does, it'll remove itself to wherever it's applied to. That seems silly because it's as if it doesn't do anything at all. The intention behind this directive is to help us hide elements it's applied to. However, that job is up to us to handle. Let me show you what I mean. The browser will identify this as an attribute even though it's a directive in Vue's eyes. We can use CSS to select this as an attribute and hide the element. Open the CSS file. Alternatively, you can create a pair style tags if you deleted the CSS file I provided earlier. At the bottom, we're going to add a selector for the vcloak attribute. Attributes can be selected by wrapping their names with a pair of square brackets. Inside the section, we'll set the display property to none. Any elements that have this attribute will be hidden in the document. Since this is the case, the user won't see the ugly expression. Eventually, Vue will be mounted onto the document, causing the directive to be removed. The styling we applied will be removed from the element we have the directive applied to. Anything being hidden will appear. Let's give it a try. Make sure you have throttling turned on. While the page is loading, the expression isn't appearing as plain text. After the page has finished loading, the name is rendered onto the document. This looks so much better and cleaner. Let's refresh the page again with the Elements panel opened. After refreshing, you'll see the vcloak directive attached to the element. The stylings are applied to the element. Once Vue has been loaded, Vue will remove this directive automatically, resulting in the removed stylings. This is the power of directives. Truthfully, this directive isn't very exciting, so let's explore some more directives. we'll learn what else we can do with directives. Before moving on, be sure to remove the throttling.